Basically, on data collection and citation management, that is the two topics which I will be going through for the next 30 minutes. Now, I think at least one time we have gone through all these processes. Okay, once we are doing research, at least for our thesis purpose, we are supposed to ideally go through all three processes. And in this one, data collection is one of the most important things. Earlier, we used to have the whole thing was on the paper-based system. Right now, everything has been shifted to a new e-write system. Now, if you go to what are the data collection methods, there are n number of methods to collect data. It may be quantitative, it may be qualitative. We have n number of methods. And again, in that, surveys and interviews are most commonly used data collection method. In surveys, questionnaires are the most commonly used. Now, this is what usually happens in our, at least in our, during our thesis days, postgraduate days. We used to collect everything in the paper-based data. Then we go sit and enter everything into Excel. Now we keep on entering tap, then go back to enter and do the whole thing. Now, a lot of errors can happen in this way. By entering by manual, we get fed up with this, our concentration loses, get fed up and data entry can go here. Now, from this thing, and we end up with this whole thing, a lot of papers. Last day when I was arranging my house, actually I got, my sample size was just 75, but still I have a lot of papers of my old data still now. So, but if you are going for some national surveys and all, you are ending up with whole sort of papers which you need to actually preserve for a quite long time. Now that also will take a lot of space and time also. And also of course money. Now, this system has now changed. As everything has gone into smart medium. Now, you don't have any more of these things, only we are going to have using of electronic system. Now, I just compared both the system, and as we are very much obsessed with the medical jargons, somebody came with copy and copy. Copy is paper-based and pencil entry, copy is computer-assisted personal entry. Basically, it is paper-based, this is electronic media-based. Now, whatever we have been done, I just compared this. Even if it is paper-based or a computer-based or electronic medium, we need a temperature. We need a questionnaire. So this thing is a must for both the things. Now question types. Now question types, you can have multiple choice questions, we can have check boxes, we can tick it up, everything can be done on paper-based. The same thing can be done in computer-based also. But along with that, what we can get is, we can have current GPS locations, photos, record audio and video, perform even calculation on site. Real time on the field level, we can perform the calculation and even capture signatures. Yeah. Now, coming to the hardware requirement, usually for a paper-based system, we collect the data on paper, come to the location and start entering on a computer. So we might be computers for the data entry work. Now, coming to the computer-based or electronic media, we need either smartphones or laptops. Usually we use on smartphones and tablets. That's the commonly used media. Now, software, data entry software can be used. There are many data entry softwares, but we can use as simple as an Excel to enter the data. Now, for electronic media, we have a lot of softwares. When we create the forms, there are all softwares. Based on that softwares, we can enter the data directly onto the software itself. Now, there are n number of softwares with different pricing levels. So we have to select which one is best suited for us. Now, this is one biggest thing about difference between the paper-based and science. Paper-based, a lot of data. Paper has to be printed. For each and every forms, we need to have a printing of the paper. Now, in computer system, you need not print any paper. Now, there might some things can happen like if we need a consent, even that needs to be printed. Maybe even that you can get it on a signature based on the tablet itself. So even that also maybe we can recover it, change to a electronic medium. Now, enumerator training can be both sides. If you are taking a paper-based system for a simple process or a simple data collection, the training will be relatively less. But if you are going for a complex data collection, there might be a lot of skip buttons. Like after question 1, you need not ask question 2, 3, 4. You can go to question 5. Now, that in a paper-based system, you have to train the persons repeatedly. Okay, and it will be difficult for them to skip those questions also. Right now, in this one, computer system, if you click the next button, it will go to, if you have given the logic or the flow chart, it will go to the necessary question answer. So you really need to have a lot of skip buttons, and it's the training will be relatively easier. Transportation and storage. Now this is one thing which I said. You need a lot of space to store data. Okay, if you are doing by paper-based system. But usually in electronic media, you can either transmit by USB or through internet also. So you may not have to have a lot of physical storage space. Now, data entry is one of the difficult part in paper-based. Basically, as I said earlier, we are collecting the data on paper, then entering the data on the computer. Now, here on the electronic media, we are instantly digitizing. Whatever you are entering data, you are getting the output as an Excel sheet only. So you don't have to sit and enter the data again and again. That's where you gain a lot of time. So and the data what we are getting is real time. Whenever somebody updates the data, you are getting at our server level. For example, ICMR is conducting a lot of surveys right now based on hypertension field. Now a lot of computer surveys are being done in THRISSUR and Cardio. So they all have their data. So what they do, they select first initially they go and select they are given an area, they enumerate all the houses and they upload all the houses data to the server. By evening, they will get 100 households. Among these, maybe 150 or 200 houses, which all households you have to go to in-depth review. So that can be done in real time rather than doing this one. So we take, it saves a lot of time by going electronically. Quality control. So now, when we are doing paper-based system, somebody has to be there to regularly check center. But that can be completely avoided in electronic media. You can keep n number of checks. How we are going to do, whether the entry is numerical, whether the entry is alphabet, like words or something, you can control everything. So you can have an inbuilt checks from the in the electronic media so that it's much more easier to enter the data. It is one of the biggest process after we go by paper-based system. Once you enter the data into the Excel, we really need to go through each and every column and find out whether the data entered are valid or not. Okay, so unless and until you go for the data cleaning process, it's really difficult to use that data for analysis. But in electronic media, from the first day when we are entering, we are not allowed to do basic errors or blunders in this one. So it will be actually you're putting the checks in the medium itself, so it's much more reliable. Time to get the data. Now, as I said, if you are going for a paper-based system, you have to collect, then enter, then do the data cleaning, then only you will get the data for analysis. Now, if you are going for the electronic media, the data is almost instantaneous. So that's a basic comparison between paper-based and this one. So, as I said, the time and cost is much more advantageous in electronic media. Okay. It improves the efficiency and the data accuracy compared to the paper-based media. Reduces the data cleaning process, as I said earlier. Now, massive reach out. Now, this is another advantage of having electronic media. You can reach out to n number of people through instantaneously through any media, like through social media or through emails also. Now, data entry and integration is really fast. That's what I said. Whatever you are entering, real-time data, it's entered being converted to Excel sheet. So you don't have to sit and enter the data again to Excel sheet again. Now, another advantage is if you have to do a little bit change in the service, while ongoing service, you can do the change and you need not update the link. The link, the change is automatically updated and you can use the same link to cut the data. But the only thing is like if you are changing or adding any field, the data which you collected, that field won't be available for the already collected data. That will be already disabled. Now, although we have said pros and many pros are there, the cons are there. If you have poor connectivity, if you are really going into a remote area where you don't have internet and facilities like that, then it will be a little bit difficult to collect the data. But still you have offline methods and then later on sync into the main server. Lack of familiarity with the electronic tools. So if you are technically little bit weak, the people are respondents are weak to understand how the enumerators are weak to understand the electronic media, then it will be difficult for them to collect. Technical glitches, that is one biggest thing, like battery getting down, everything and all. If those things happen, then our data collection will be affected. Now, paper-based system, though it's a most traditional system, it do have some pros also. Like lack of, as I said, the cons of the electronic media will be pros for the paper-based media. So if there is lack of familiarity in electronic tools, maybe you can go with paper-based system. less expensive as it requires lower head. The initial investment for the paper system is really less, but the initial investment for the electronic media is going to be really high. But when you collect the data and if you analyze the cost per response, that is considerably low for electronic media because you can get a large number of data compared to the paper-based system. It's very useful for most remote and sparsely populated areas. And it's devoid of technical features. The cons are lot of time to transfer. There are erroneous entries because of lack of human attention. Because once you start entering, doing the work mechanically, the human attention decreases and there can be a lot of errors. Now, unnecessary bulk of to retain the records. Another problem with paper-based is if you want to recall any data, it's really difficult. You have to go through the whole paper set. Now, it's much more easier in electronic media. That's the last one. Now, what are the related present data collection tools which I am most familiar with, which I have been using? I am using one app-based info, info, and we are using online forms. I think Google Form will be much more familiar. Zoho Form is which I use actually in my day-to-day practice. Now this is info. This is an app-based. So basically you need to install this app on your laptop, on your mobile, and on all the places where you have to use the data. So if any enumerator is going to upload the data on EpiInfo, that enumerator should have the EpiInfo application on his phone, his or her phone.
So this is available in Google Play?
No, this is actually it's a Play Store. It's available. I'll come to the EpiInfo form. Now, if you ask me the definition of EpiInfo, this is what the definition is. Public domain, a simple interoperable software tools designed for the global community of public health practitioners and research. Now, it was developed by CDC in Atlanta. It's on US. Now, it's available all for Microsoft Windows, Android, iOS. It's also web and online cloud versions are also available. Now, it basically creates a data entry forms. Now, you can create a number of forms. You can share that form with the people and collect the data. It also gives a different data entry experience. Other things like it helps in analysis also. EpiInfo already have inbuilt data analysis, statistical analysis tools are also inbuilt in that, which you can do the analysis and you can develop graphs also. Now, what are the features? The first feature is it's completely free. It's completely free on a public domain. You can download and to any this thing. Nobody is going to ask, so you don't have to pay even a single price for it. Now, user guide and online tutorials are available on the website itself. EpiInfo website is there. So you can go through user guide and you can go through online video lectures are there, which will help you in understanding the whole thing. OpenEpi. This is an OpenEpi is a web-based open application. Basically, it's, the whole thing is about statistical analysis. You put data on the website, they will give out the results about the p-value, about the association, all the things, mean, median, everything you will get. Now, user interface changes based on the platform. Now, this is one thing. If you look into the laptop, you have a bigger screen, you have a bigger this thing, and easier to enter the data. Now, when you are going to a mobile form, now the form changes, adjusts itself into the mobile screen itself. So you don't have to screen it up. You can just scroll it down upwards or downwards to enter the data serially.
Is the data transferable from this to other, like suppose SPSS or something?
Yeah. No, the thing is like export facilities is also there. So that is the most advantage of having our electronic media. All the media, usually what they make it common ground as an Excel sheet. So once you get into an Excel sheet, SPSS tracks data from Excel also. So even EpiInfo has a feature of directly transferring, exporting to SPSS also. So that's what can be done. Now, this is one drawback or a glitch in this thing that apparent has to be installed everywhere. So if you don't have that application in another form, you cannot get the data. But the other forms, you can just send the link and you can collect the data. That's the advantage of other forms. You can actually do that, the web integration is actually there. I have not explored that web integration part because it's a little bit technically too much for me, so I haven't explored that part. To be into the mobile, you have option from the EpiInfo software itself, how to push it into the mobile. So once you push it in the mobile, then only the application will be available on the mobile platform. this is about the Zoho forms. Before that, I'll just show you how this works. To enter the data. So it's just a screenshot video of how we are doing it. Now you are going to open the form. You browse the form. Validation of component track custom procedure. That was the thing. So it is don't go for the values at all. It's just some random numbers only. I just want you to see how easy it is for you to enter the data. Now it's a new record we are going to enter. Now you create an ID number 2. Now everything is, see, here are only 2 groups. So here are just 2 groups, study group which is retrospective and prospective. Now you can have it as drop down menu. So once you are going to select this, it's easier much more you to select rather than remembering the code for 1 or 2. Where you can just directly select the thing.
So we can customize those.
You can customize. The whole thing can be customized by you. So whatever based on your thing, you can completely do it. And this is actually tab. If you go by tabbing, you go from this form to this form, it is serial in number. The tab number is also serial number. So it doesn't go from this one to this. Because that number, it should go from this to this one.
How difficult is it to create this form?
Why? It's not difficult.
No.
Difficult. But you should work on it. So then it will be easier for you. This is what you need to just drop down and select it rather than enter it on paper and then enter it on Excel sheet. So actually if it is a code also, when you come in an Excel sheet, it comes as a code. Because I was learning the online video yesterday actually, that's why it took some little bit of time.
And the statistics part can be done on this platform.
This platform itself.
Whereas in Google Docs you can't do this.
Google Docs you cannot do, even in Zoho forms also you cannot do. Only those forms are only utilized only for data collection. But everybody tends to use SPSS. Everybody is comfortable with SPSS, so most of them will transfer to Excel and then. But FinFlow is also good. See now, once you put select whatever you want, it is automatically being scored. You don't have to worry about what the score. You see, if you select only, the score will come. Otherwise, it's not going to be scored at all, and it will be automatically adding the whole value. And as you go to the next one, if it is yes, the score will come here. If it is no, the score, there is no score. Here, if you are selecting this, the score will come here. That was one technical glitch here. When I used the tab, it was not coming up actually. Then I had to select it with the mouse keeper. Then see when I click it, it's come. Now you have get the total score, and then go to the next one. So now everything will be available each column. So that is the advantage of. See, this is line listed on the bit. See, all the things have been line listed. All the things have been in Excel sheet. Now you saved it, you can go to the next form. Zoho forms, it's again simple like an online form, just like Google Forms. It's user friendly, interface I felt is a little more user friendly compared to AP Info. Now web-based data entry. Now this is one good thing about Zoho Forms. You get a link for every Zoho form. Every form you create, you get a link. You share the link through WhatsApp, your email, anything. Anybody who touches that link will get that form. You can directly enter into that form directly. Link is shared through email or social media. This is one good thing which I like. I enter the form, I give it for reviewing for my colleagues, and they come up with corrections. So before sharing with the public thing, I make the corrections. with the same link, the corrections are actually uploaded to the same form itself. You don't have to create another form for that the same link. Data can be entered using the same link. And another thing is like when you are going to submit the form, you have an option to edit that for submitted form also. And you have an option where you can send a mail to the person who had submitted the form. So even if you want to edit at later time, you can edit the link. Once you are editing that link also, it is getting updated in your server also. The problem with this, it's a paid application. It doesn't come with being paid. So this is a demo form. This is how Zoho forms looks like. I'll show you the video regarding that. Now, being running the hypertension control program, I need to collect data from around 180 facilities on a monthly basis. How much you have registered, how much you have thing. The problem if you are going to use Google Forms and all, you really don't know. People might enter like poverty PHC. Now they are like PABA, RRTY. Now otherwise, if there might be one team this time, there might be there are two teams next time. So we really cannot control because when we copy it, it doesn't match with any other thing. So it was really difficult for me to find out how to enter these things. So that's when I came with the Zoho Forms thing. Now they can select their health facility first from their parent facility. From that, they can select their facility. Now they are divided into 20 blocks. They know which all blocks are there. From that, they will be entering the parent facility. Now they scroll down. They will enter this number, all the three numbers. Now the advantage is, as you are entering, the total is being calculated here. So actually they can check whether their entered number and the number which they are writing on the paper is really correct. This is a default which they have identified. This is a dummy form, that's why I just created random. And this is what I said, if you are entering the email ID, you will get a copy to your email ID also. So that you can edit or you can have a PDF version of that same form which you submitted. So it hardly takes, so it can, usually my colleagues, usually they send it either via WhatsApp, so they can go and touch the link on the WhatsApp and they enter the data. So this is about the Zoho Forms.
How costly it is?
Its monthly charge is around 7 or 8 including taxes. Monthly charges. Yearly if you take a 1 year subscription, it's around 6,700 a month.
So it's very easy to falsify that. I mean, you
falsify that you can do in paper based also. Anyway.
That's more difficult, I think.
How?
But no, you survey 5 patients and then you upload 50 patients.
Yeah, that can be done.
In papers.
Papers might be in that way. Now the next topic will be reference managers. Now, when we are writing papers, the biggest glitch is like referencing. Putting 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you get it and then if you are going to change the whole thing, it's going to be really difficult to change the whole thing. So there are many reference managers actually online. Zotero and Mendeley, both of these things are really free applications. I usually use Zotero. Now, Zotero can be used as two forms. Either it can be used as a standalone, which can be downloaded and installed on the computer, or you can integrate the same thing with the browser. The browser application integrated one is little bit have a lot more technical features there compared to the standalone one. So if you are using the standalone one, that will be better. Now, it helps in creating the references sequentially, and it also updates whenever you are going to change the reference. Now, I'll just show you how we are going to do it. This is a recent this thing. I just I'm one of the person to write this one. So whenever you are going to have the Zotero, this is how Zotero looks like. So all the things you have actually all the studies are there. Now if you want to add any article, now if you go to the website, you can get a lot of articles. You will get either this number, PMID number. So you just copy that. This one is the, here you can write even the book's ISBN number, DO is digital object identifiers, and PMID. Now when you paste that and enter, the whole article comes. It comes up with all the thing, all the authors, all the abstract, everything will be there. When it was issued, all the pages, year, all the articles, the whole details comes up with that thing. Only one click of this one. This you can do with even with the digital object identifier also. Now this one is a digital object identifier. I'm just copying it. Now you just go to this one, add it. It's being displayed. It just comes up like that. If you don't have any really old articles which you really don't get the PMID number, paste everything, each one, each details one by one.
Suppose the PDF is there in our computer.
No.
How do we add that?
PDF you need to add this thing. PDF you need to add manually.
Like copy paste.
No, you don't. No, you can't copy paste any of those things actually. One thing is that you have to. In PDF you will have all the author's name, everything will be there. You will have to see. I'll just tell you. If it's a journal article, here you have to copy paste the entire journal entry. You have to authorize the
Title
author.
of the article.
Everything you have to manually do it.
And then search and then it finds.
If the PubMed article is open access and you put the PMID, the PDF will automatically be downloaded and saved.
Yeah, that I have shown.
Yeah.
Then PMID, if the only PDF is available, if you don't have any PMID
In
on
the
the
PDF, the PMID will be
It will
available.
be there.
if PMID is there, it's easier. If it is not there, if it is not there, you have to manage.
You said old articles.
Yeah, that's why if it's an old article which doesn't have any PMID or DOIs, then you have to manually add it. But there is a feature for Zotero in if you are using Chrome, Firefox browser. In Zotero, if you select the browser itself, from the browser itself, the Zotero captures the data.
And there's no problem with indexing of the journal when we type the title and all that.
No, indexing. Indexing again. The what style you want. I'll show you how many styles you have actually. Now, how do we go for indexing? Is you are writing the whole thing. You want to add a thing. You go to Zotero. One tab is there on the Word. Add the citation. You go to the top. See, these are the articles which you have been referring. So once you do this one, just select this one. Okay. So you started the word first one. You are adding the next one. You automatically getting it added. The next number is getting added.
And you can change the format, like you want it superscript.
Yeah, you can do that. And at the end, if you just add the bibliography, everything comes there. It's done. You don't have to write the whole thing, copy paste the whole thing actually. No,
This is the Vancouver style or?
this is the Vancouver style actually. You can change the style also, document preferences. See, these many styles are there. So if you want any others, you just do that, so you just use that OK button. So that also being done. That also changes. See, again that also changed. So then it became superscript. So now, the thing is like, if you want to go to the since most of the journals are with Vancouver style, these are the so-called technical glitches. So if you want to add multiple sources, so you can just add this one. Add order goes by this thing. You keep on adding. Okay, then you think, oh, this should come up. You change the sequence also. No issues. It comes up 3 to 5. Okay, then and you do the refreshing part.
Can you get in alphabetical order also?
The alphabetical order, I'm not sure about the alphabetical order part, but usually we go by, I think maybe
Maybe
you'll be
in
able to.
particular format styling.
Yeah, the thing is like which format you want. So if it's like, I think, I don't know which citation style we use alphabetical order. So based on the citation style, you can get it. Let me see. see if I can change the thing. Now this is 2 is Williams 1. So I go from 2, I edit the thing and I add batsman also to that. I change it basically. So the 2 has been changed. Now it has automatically changed to batsman. It was actually Williams earlier, with author by Williams, which automatically changed to that. So you really don't have to break your head to copy this thing. So this is one of the things like for writing articles. So that's about data collection and citation management. Software is free. Software and mentally is both are this free. Whatever I said in that only Zoho Forms is the paid across everything, all the 3 other fields are free.
Which of these is more user friendly, mentally or
Depends on each person. I have worked with Zotero, so I am comfortable with Zotero. Mentally, I have recently started with just a couple of days back when I just tried to play with the orders. I am not that comfortable, so I am not sure about it. So whichever you like, only thing mentally you need to create an this one, like an ID. You have an ID there, so that also you have. Then you can use it basically.
Thank you, Yannick. I invite Dr. James Chettimattam, Director, Metropolitan Hospital, to felicitate Dr. Yannick.